Hey everyone, it's Evangeline here, and today we have the CURT solid rubber wheel chocks with handles and trailer mounts for both chocks. We'll take a look at how it fits, how it installs, and which is going to be the right wheel chock mount for your trailer right here at etrailer.com. Chocking your trailer is very important, and it's also very important to use the right chock for your trailer. I've seen so many times where people just rely on pieces of the parking lot like this or small pieces of wood to hold down their trailer, and I've also seen enough trailers end up in the bushes or in the water when they're not supposed to due to storms kicking up. Then this would all have been avoided if they had the proper chock. Now, we're going to talk about this chock, talk about how it helps with securing your trailer, and also talk about this nice handle here that makes it easier to use. This is going to be a solid rubber chock, and right away it feels and looks and even sounds hefty. So you can see how this has two different sides. One is going to be for your wheel, and the other one with these ridges is going to be for the ground to create that extra grip and traction. So when you stick this into your trailer or back your trailer into it, what also tends to happen is it supports that whole weight, which means that when you need to remove the chock, some people might have a little issue with that because it might be stuck, might be wedged, might be hard to kick out, and that's where the handle comes in handy. Rather than risking your fingers between the chock and the wheel, you just grab it from the end, you pull out to get that tension out, and you're ready to go. And once you take that chock out of your wheels, you then put it onto this mount. Ideally, the mount would be nearby your wheels just for easy access. Rather than having to go and put this away in your toolbox or in your trailer, you can put it right here. This fits onto our mounting bracket. We have the dual bracket here to fit two chocks. They are secured with these linch pins. The linch pins have little lanyards just to keep them in place so you don't lose the pins. And removing the pins is just a simple pull, another pull, and you're ready to chock your trailer. Another reason I suggest investing in quality chocks versus finding sticks and pieces of stone out in nature is because of the durability factor. That solid rubber is hefty, it's durable, it's strong, but it also lasts a lot longer than a stick. And because of that, if you are parked out in the parking lot for an extended period of time, if you're expecting extreme elements like rain, water, sunshine, you want something that can last. And not only are the chocks made of rubber, but you also have steel construction throughout the mounting bracket. The brackets have a black powder coat finish just to maintain that corrosion resistance, and the hardware is hefty. So speaking of hefty hardware, let's take a close look at how we got this installed. So you are going to have all the hardware that you need to install your mounting kit. And if you're choosing the drill option, you do have self-tapping bolts included. And if you are using the clamp option, you also have your longer hardware. Now what's not included though is going to be your tools. So I use a 9/16 long socket or deep well socket, and that helps out with the clamping option. And if you are doing the drilling option, you're going to need your own drill bits. If you were to drill, just hold up your mounting hardware to where you want it to go on your frame. And then you do have two options here for where you want to put those bolts. Once you've marked which spot, then drill your pilot holes and then use your self-tapping screws to fully secure. We are not going to drill into our frame here today. We are going to use the clamping option. Here we have our mounting brackets. So these are going to be two plates, and they're designed to create a clamp around your trailer frame. So there's a lot of adjustability to this. The way this works is we secure the mount to this plate, and then we secure the other one behind it. So let's take some measurements real quick to see what types of trailer frames this can fit around. For this plate, distance from the top hole to the bottom hole is going to be 9 inches apart, center to center. Each hole is spaced an inch apart. To get your mount onto that bracket, you're going to use 2 carriage bolts, and if you're doing the clamp method, then you're going to go into this track system here. So we'll put one up here and the other bolts down here, and these are carriage bolts, so they have that square on the inside holding them in place. So now we can flip this over and get our 9 lock nuts onto those bolts, 1 and 2, and then using a 9/16 wrench, tighten those down. So before you fully torque them down, just make sure that they're in the position you want them to be. What I like to do sometimes is I partially tighten it down and then put this back onto the frame just to double check before I fully torque it down. So if you wanted your wheel chocks more horizontal, meaning you have more space over to the side, you can do it this way. If you have limited space and want to take up around the same space as your bracket, you could do it up and down instead. So just remember where on the track you prefer your wheel chocks, and then once you're fully sure, you can fully tighten it down. Depending on your clearance around your frame, you also have the option of putting that mount a little higher or a little lower. I like to put it centered just because it makes more sense with this type of trailer. Now to secure it, we're going to use 2 carriage bolts, and this is going to clamp it or squeeze that frame. So I like to put the top one first, carriage bolt through, and then the bracket goes behind. Secure that bracket with a flat washer and then this 9 lock nut. And we're going to tighten this down, but not fully, because if we fully tighten down, it will skew one way, and we're trying to keep it as level as possible. So partially tighten it down. Same process for the bottom bolt. And now you're ready to put your chocks on. So when you're ready to go, you just fit the chocks onto those brackets. I like to make a square or box shape with the chocks. Look at how neat that is. You can then put the linch pins in, 1 and 2. Just make sure you don't get your thumb stuck in between the pin and the clip when you close it. I learned that from experience. But just like that, you're ready to drive. All in all, it does depend on what type of trailer you have, how many wheels you have, and how much chocks you want to use. So hopefully this video helped explain the differences between the different chock types. For example, here we have 2 wheels on each side, so having that dual chock mount would be helpful. The question just is, where would we mount it to the frame? In this case, for this trailer, that's where the drill application would come in handy. Versus our boat trailer earlier, where we had those square tubes we could easily clamp to, the clamp application made more sense. So whether you want the quantity of 2 or the dual chock mount, or you want the quantity of 1 single chock mount, or maybe you don't want the mounts and you just want the chocks, you can find them all here on our website. Hopefully our pictures, videos, and descriptions help you out with finding the best fit for you. But this right here, right now, was a look at the CURT rubber chock with handle and mount for 2 chocks right here at etrailer.com.